Hello, welcome to today's episode of How to Revise Using Personal Learning Checks. So on today's episode, we're going to be considering how we can use personal learning checklists in order to actually help us revise more effectively for a subject, but also as a great tool to actually assess our own understanding and the gaps in our knowledge. So a personal learning checklist, or PLCs, is basically a list of subject content that you need to understand for a particular subject. Now, you might be quite familiar with these. I'm sure some of your teachers have used them with you in class. I know Mr. Bartlett is quite fond of using these in PE. But they're a great way of you actually starting to take ownership over your learning and then actually being able to pinpoint exactly what it is that you need to use and you need to revise. So the first way that you can use a PLC is using RAG ratings. So a RAG rating is ultimately you deciding whether you are confident, secure, or you have a specific weakness in a particular in a topic, or whether actually there is some deep understanding there, but there's more to be done in terms of making you confident in that particular topic. So you go by the RAG rating. So red would be there's serious issues here, and this is something you really, really do need to revise. Amber would be you're fairly confident, you can answer most questions but not all, and then green would be you're good to go, and this is a topic that you are very confident in. So this is an example from A-level English again, and here a student would be given the opportunity to actually go through the different part of their exam. So here it's the unseen passage of section A for component 2, and all they'd need to do is basically decide where they felt that their confidence was for each of these topics. And actually you can see that on the side, their topics are split into their assessment objectives. All they'd need to do is to shade those boxes in using the RAG rating, and then fill out what the steps they need, what steps are needed in order for them to progress. Now, once you identify the topics that you are not so secure in, you can actually ask your teacher for either extra resources, extra exam questions, for an opportunity to redraft work, and then you get that checked by your teacher, and you can ask them to date and initial that they've seen the work that you've produced in this area in order to revise. Another way that you can, so you can see here that you then take this to your teacher. Another way that you can use your PLC is actually as a progress tracker. So what you might do is at the beginning of your revision, say you're going back to previous content from year 10 if you're in year 11, or year 12 if you're in year 13, what you can do is actually at the start of that process of revision, at the start of the academic year, you simply start to tick when you feel that you have revised a topic, you test yourself, and then depending on what answers, how much you got, you then make a note to say, okay, I feel like I'm actually still confident in this topic, or actually think that this is still an insecure area for me and I need to go back. The reason why I love PLCs is because I think it's a great way for you as students to start to take some ownership over your revision, and it actually stops you from kind of revising the things that you're confident in. Oftentimes we can start to revise the things that we know really well because it makes us feel really good about ourselves and makes us feel like, yes, I'm going to ace this test. The only problem is we're not necessarily allowing ourselves to actually face those topics that are a little bit trickier, that we are less confident in. And actually what you need to do is to continue going back to those topics that you don't have that confidence in order to eventually build that confidence. So I hope you found today's session useful. If you are interested in getting a blank PLC, you can either ask your teachers or ask me, and I'll be happy to send you one. If you do have any further questions, as always, you can come and find me in the playground when I'm on duty, or if you don't see me, just email me at w.salau@stbonds.org. Thank you for listening.